What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to continue our Batman Arkham coverage on the channel. We've done it a couple days back-to-back, and I want to talk about in this video if this next game could be a next-generation game. And I want to go over my train of thought and what I'm thinking of that could lead to that and what that would mean. If this is a next-gen game, what would that mean then for this Batman game? But again, we've been covering this game a lot. If this game does get announced during Gamescom, the Gamescom is still going on, or if it gets announced in the 10-year anniversary of Arkham Asylum on Sunday, we will be covering this game quite a bit, so make sure you guys are subscribed and have the bell icon hit so you guys know when these videos go up, because again, if it comes out on Sunday or they do the announcement on Sunday, we'll have loads of videos all throughout next week talking about it. But when it comes to this next-gen thing, I know a lot of people will say, well, that's not right. It's obviously a current-gen thing, and I agree. I'm on the edge. I'm on the edge right now. Up until Gamescom, up until like 3 days ago, I thought this game was a slam dunk current gen game, and maybe it's just because I want this game to be out sooner rather than later. Now, I saw some comments that said on their website it says it's a current gen game. That's not true. Their website's actually pretty blank. There's not a lot there, and nowhere on there does it currently say that there's a current gen game being made, okay? And nowhere it reported either. Now, I know the leaks point to it being a current gen game, and we know that the game is close to being, I would say, close to being done from all the stuff that we've heard about it. But, as of now, confirmed stuff, we don't even technically know they're making a Batman game. We know they're making a DC game, but a lot of it's just our opinions, right? And what we can kind of theorize from these leaks and from these rumors that we've heard. But bottom line, what is kind of convincing me that this could turn into being a next-gen game is if you look at what happened to Ghost of Tsushima and the rumors, again, these are just rumors about Ghost of Tsushima, and the rumors have it that if you look at Sony, look at PlayStation, The Last of Us Part 2 has been pushed again. It was originally supposed to come out in the fall. It was pushed internally to February, but now it really seems it's coming out more like May or June. So really replicating what the first Last of Us did and coming out right at the end. Remember how The Last of Us came out in June, right before, a couple months before the PS4 came out. So they're doing that. Ironically, they're doing that again. Ghost of Tsushima, as part of that same kind of rumor/leak, they said that there's going to be a state of play in November for Sony. They're going to announce The Last of Us release date, and Ghost of Tsushima is not going to be there. They're going to talk about that next year, and this game has been it's made a lot of progress. It's done really, really well, but at the same time, it's gone a little bit slower than they've imagined, and it's now a next-gen game. So, rumor has it, Ghost of Tsushima is a PS5 game. Now, you could be saying, well, why am I mentioning Ghost of Tsushima? Here's the reason. Sony has flat out said in the past that Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us Part 2, as well as Death Stranding, are all PS4 games. They're made for the PS4. If Ghost of Tsushima is pushed back so far that it ends up being a PS5 game, what's stopping this Batman thing from doing the same thing? If Batman was originally intended to be announced in 2019 and come out in the first half of 2020, but it was pushed, could that mean it would come out on the next generation consoles? Now, here's what you could be saying. Well, Alex, if it's pushed 3, 4, 5 months, if it's delayed that much, obviously it's not going to be a fully built up, next generation game. That would have meant so many different things, right? That would have meant that a couple years ago they would have started making it on next generation consoles. I agree with that. So it's kind of tough to talk about because I don't know about you guys. I don't know the specifics of how games are made. It could just be that the game is mostly done on current gen, but they can port it. They can do the remaster. I talked a lot about how I believe a lot of games that are going to come out in 2020 are going to have Game of the Year editions. I think Game of the Year editions are going to come back next year stronger than ever because they'll come back out remastered for the next generation of consoles. Now, next gen will be backwards compatible, so say Batman comes out, say it's Arkham Crisis, say that's just what we call it for now. It comes out in May of 2020. That's not stopping them from doing a Game of the Year edition the year after, 2021, and say January, okay? And you buy our Batman Arkham Crisis Game of the Year edition for PS5. Now, we know we can play Arkham Crisis on the PS5 when it comes out, or the next Xbox, because it's backwards compatible, and it'll make the game run smoother. It'll make the game overall better, but they then will have a next generation game of the same kind, and it'll have like the advanced lighting, it'll just run a little bit, like everything will be a little bit better, but it'll be something that you can't necessarily get if you just play the game backwards compatible. I think that's possible. I think a lot of the games that are coming out in 2020 will have that. It's one thing for your game to run a little bit faster, a little bit smoother if you play it backwards compatible. That's one thing. Another thing is if you kind of do a soft remaster, kind of even like The Last of Us remaster did. It came out, I believe, 1 or 2 years after the first game, so it didn't give them all that much time to do it, but they did it. And it was kind of like a soft remaster. I see that as being very possible for Batman. So, the answer to my question, I mean, the title and what I kind of started this out as, is this a built from the ground next generation game? No, absolutely not. It isn't. I don't think any game that's been in development we know this game has been in the works for a couple of years now. We knew that 2019 was supposed to be the year they announced it, and it still very well can be. I think it will be. I think we will get an announcement before the end of 2019 about this game. So 2019 is supposed to be the year. 2020 is supposed to be when this game comes out. We all know that. There's no way this game is a built from the ground up next generation game. And Ghost of Tsushima I don't think is either. It's going to be really tough because I feel like only exclusives for next generation games are going to be that. When the PS5 comes out, Horizon Zero Dawn 2, say, if that comes out within the first couple months, that is a built from the ground next generation game. I think it's going to take 6, 7, 8, 9 months before we start getting games that were built from the ground up for next generation, because it's just the way it works. You can't have a game. The press kits don't go out fast enough or early enough to get people to make these games. So specifically Warner Bros. Montreal, I can guarantee you, they didn't get the press kit fast enough or early enough to make this game on next generation consoles built from the ground up. Could this game be remastered? Could this game have a Game of the Year edition? It's honestly hilarious that I'm talking about a remaster or Game of the Year edition of a game that's not even freaking confirmed yet. But here we are. This is the world we live in. Yeah, that's totally possible. That could very, very well happen. So ultimately, my answer is no. This game isn't a next generation game. Does that mean this game won't release until next generation is out, though? Could this game come out in the fall of 2020, a time that I've routinely said, if you guys have watched my past Arkham videos, if you guys have watched my Harry Potter videos, you'll know I've said games should stay out of that. Once it hits September of next year, September of 2020, I don't see games releasing on the last generation consoles if they don't also release on the next gen. So Assassin's Creed, the next Assassin's Creed game, I think you can go to a store and buy the PS4 box version and the PS5 version. Okay, I think that's going to happen. But you're not going to see just, exclusively PS5 for Batman. I think it's going to be a game that if it comes out next fall, which I don't think it will, but if it did come out next fall, I think it would be a game that would be a PS4 box, PS5 box, and you could choose. And then it kind of just comes down to how early is it coming out before the next generation consoles, so on, so on. But I still want to believe this is like a June game. I still want to believe that's coming out in June of 2020. Warner Bros. Montreal is not Rocksteady, but Arkham Knight did come out late June, I believe June 25th, June 27th. It was around my birthday. My birthday is June 28th. So it came out the last week of June back in 2015, and it sold, extremely, extremely well. I think June is a really good spot. Now, not all the games came out. Arkham Asylum came out in August. Arkham City didn't come out in either of those 2 months. So, these games have jumped around. I think June is a sweet spot. I think, again, June kind of marks the end in my mind. I think if you think about it enough, I think enough people would probably say June kind of marks the end of current generation, because the summer games don't really release in the summer, or at least not a lot of them. Not a lot of high-profile games. And then when it gets into the fall of next year, it's next generation time, right? You're not really thinking of current gen. You're not thinking of, like, last gen. And that's how we would describe it as. So I think this is a game that's still coming out in the first half. It's just an interesting conversation to see, could this game be a next generation game? It could. It won't be built from the ground up, but it could be a next-gen game. So, guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think about Batman Arkham in general? I know we've had a lot of videos. Do you think it's going to get announced for the 10-year anniversary? What do you think about the no-show at Gamescom? Again, if this game does get announced within the next couple days, we'll be covering it a ton on the channel, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And even if it doesn't, over, every so often, every couple weeks, we'll have a new Arkham video talking about the game, talking about my theories of the game before it ultimately one day does get announced. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video.